Hello and welcome, Angela.
Hi, Ruby. How are you?
I am so happy to be side by side on camera with you. I don't think people know this in our audience, but we talk like every couple of weeks and text.
We kind of have a girl crush on each other. It's a secret.
I know. Well, now that we've outed it to the whole world, they can join in. Maybe we'll see.
But this is what happens when Ruby and I talk. This is what happens. This incredible event happens.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. This incredible event. So welcome, everyone. It is, I don't even know what day it is. It's Wednesday. Do you even know what day it is? You don't know what time it is?
I don't know what time it is. I do know it's Wednesday, but I have no idea what time it is. And I'm in Colorado.
Okay, that's what I was getting ready to ask you. So welcome, everyone, to the Feed Real Institute live show. I'm here with Angela Ardolino, who is the founder of CBD Dog Health, founder of Myco Dog, the host of Your Natural Dog podcast, and probably so many other things that we don't have time to mention because your resume is longer than anyone else I know.
Just because I'm old.
But she's here with us today to talk about plant medicine, a big topic. I feel like this has gained a lot of popularity in the last maybe 5-6 years. But when we really think about it, plant medicine has been around forever, for centuries, right? So she's going to be joining in today to talk to us about plant medicine, to tell us a little bit about her talk at the Feed Real Summit. She is one of our speakers that we're also excited about here in San Diego. The Feed Real Summit is going to be this October. And I wanted to bring her on to sort of give you a sneak peek and give us some background on plant medicine. You've been on tour this year so far. Tell us where you've been.
Oh, gosh. How dare you put me on the spot like that? Okay, let's see. North Carolina, Virginia, Tampa. We started in Tampa. And oh my gosh, Chicago, and then we're doing San Diego for the Feed Real Heal Naturally event, October 14th, and then back to Virginia, and then New Jersey. I think that's it for the year.
For 2023.
Yes. No, there's something in December, but I think it's like a industry event, not like, where people can come and learn or whatever. It's awesome. This is exactly what I wanted to do, was to be able to educate as many people as I possibly can about these incredible adaptogens, plants, fungi that heal. They are the original medicine. Pharmaceuticals are not the original medicine. And every medicine that is in existence is based on something that's found in nature that provided that relief. But I'm sure people are sick of hearing me say this. You can't patent nature and make $1 billion off of it. So instead, we just take a compound or we make a synthetic version of it so that we can patent it and make the billions of dollars. But nothing works better than nature.
Yep, that's right.
I think that there's a huge trend because so many people have been failed by conventional medicine, and or they are simply have been told so many times in the vet space, especially, their vet says there's nothing else I can do. Or they're just throwing antibiotics or multiple pain pills or all kinds of things to them. I mean, I'm amazed that people are still that vets are still telling people to give their dogs Benadryl.
Yeah.
For F's sake. We shouldn't even be taking Benadryl, much less giving it to our pets, which it's not even made for. So, yeah, this is what I talk about all the time. And give me any disease, any level of pain, and I can show you the plants that will not only take care of that issue, but cause no harm while doing it, which is the whole purpose of medicine in the first place, is to just help and without doing any harm.
Right.
And instead, pharmaceuticals, it's a standard of care. You have this disease, you get this pharmaceutical drug, you get this protocol. They don't take the individual into consideration. And this goes both for human and pet. what I find is human and pet medicine. Whatever is going on in human, it's going to find its way into pet, because the big pharmaceutical companies, they have an animal arm also. So they love making the money from us pet parents that are willing to do anything for our pets.
Yep. Yep. I thought of you this morning when I was walking my dog, because I live in this neighborhood, which is right next to a military housing community, which basically means they have like everything they need, right? Their lawns are nicely groomed and kept, and they've got these poop bag stations, super convenient, right? There's no poop on the ground ever. But every couple of weeks they spray herbicide, and there's this big sign that says keep off until dry. And like, it literally has a mom, a kid, and they're walking their dog, and like yes. And I'm like, why are we still doing this? Like,
I don't know about you. I'd much rather step in a pile of dog shit than a whole bunch of chemicals that are going to give me cancer. I don't know about you.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm like, just do away with the poop bag stations and leave the shit on the ground. It's fine.
For those of you who don't know, I'm in an RV right now. I'm in an Airstream, traveling on tour, speaking, visiting places I've always wanted to go. Tomorrow we go, we're spending the day at where we manufacture all of our products. So we're really excited about that. But yeah, I'm amazed at the first campground. We were so excited because, of course, I'm going to the middle of the woods, boonies, the ones that I don't care if it has a swimming pool or a mini golf course. I want trees, creeks, woods. And the first one, we're so excited, so beautiful, all woods. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look, Joe, there's fog rolling in. It wasn't fog. They were spraying mosquitoes so bad that we had to I'm like, well, how do we even get fresh air? It was ridiculous how you can't even get away from it. So guess what? Plants also help us detoxify our bodies also, and help our pets detoxify our bodies. So we all have to do a detoxification all the time, because it's literally cannot escape these chemicals. They are everywhere. And our poor pets are breathing them in the air. Their noses are to the ground. Today where we're staying right now is in a national park where there is no mosquito spray. Thank goodness. Doesn't look like there's any spraying of anything. We're on a creek where, like, instead of me worried about what they're going to eat or drink, I'm like, yeah, eat it, drink it, do it, get in this water, eat that dirt, because it's like, finally, here's something that doesn't have any poison on it.
Yes, yes. Well, kudos to you for living your life in an Airstream. I cannot imagine that with dogs, multiple dogs at that.
I couldn't imagine it either. Well, we had a little taste of it when Carter, Hernando, and I went on tour with Linda and Blanche were with us. But they were like, little infants. They'll go and do anything, go anywhere. But I have my two, Jolene and Mazo, which are medium size, and then Remy, who are all senior citizens, and are used to running around on 3 acres in Florida. So I didn't know what to expect, but they are doing so good. Jolene is like the queen. She's living her life, man. It's like her retirement. Maz is a little crazy, and Remy doesn't care. As long as she's with me, she doesn't care.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm a little envious of you. Okay, so let's get into it. I do want to talk about plant medicine, of course, and everyone that's joining in. Dolce's Legacy says, I'm late. You were not late. We were late. So don't you guys worry.
Bronwyn.
We're going to do the thing. We go for about 30 minutes, just chit-chatting about plant medicine, and then we're going to open up the floor for you guys to ask your questions. If you've got to run, don't worry. Drop your questions in the comments. We'll get to it, and you can go back and watch this replay sometime this afternoon. The last time I had you on, you taught me about so many things. I mean, we started with Nina's story and sort of your history with cannabis, but I kind of want to talk about mushrooms today.
Awesome.
Can you talk about your evolution from using cannabis to mushroom products to heal naturally? Like, how did that all happen?
Yeah, cannabis was my introduction to plant medicine. I went to the University of Vermont School of Medicine to their cannabis program. And that's where I learned about the endocannabinoid system, which you also learn about other plants besides cannabis that have these incredible medicinal benefits. None of them have as many as cannabis does. She's queen. She's the queen of all adaptogens. But fungi are also interact with the endocannabinoid system along with other systems. And all the research that's out there on them, on how they are anti-cancer, anti-tumor, amazing for the immune system. To me, they were just cannabis's best friend. And that's why I started to research like 10 or 12 of them, because there's thousands and thousands of different species of them. And most of them were for pain and for cancer for Nina. And so that's why I got into it, and then realized which ones were interacting with the endocannabinoid system, which ones have been proven over and over again to be an amazing anti-cancer drug. They're already being used. Compounds, polysaccharides from turkey tail are already being used as anti-cancer drugs in Japan. So
for people, for humans.
For people. Yep. For people. So, but what's funny is that it's almost as messed up and corrupt as the cannabis industry, except that the cannabis industry has an industry. That there's the medical marijuana industry, which is totally controlled by the government. And then there's the hemp industry, which, under the Farm Bill makes it legal in all 50 states. But it is the industry that is fighting to get FDA to recognize it as a supplement, keep it. We follow the hemp industry's guidelines. That's why we do the COAs. What we put on our labels is all the hemp industry. When it comes to mushrooms, fungi, there ain't nothing. So most of the products are not medicine. They are more of a functional food and or a tempeh, if you want to call it. Like, they basically take a grain or rice substrate or oat substrate. It's like a box of oats, and they put it in a bag and they inoculate it with spores, poke some holes in it, put it in a dark room, and add moisture, and the mushrooms grow. And unfortunately, they usually take, I would say 90% of the supplements out there take that substrate, and the moment that mushroom pops its head out, they take that whole thing, grind it up, put it in a capsule or a powder, and that's what most of you are putting in your coffee in the morning.
So now, they haven't even had time to like mature. What's the natural setting? Dirt, I'm assuming.
Every mushroom is a little different. So it depends on what mushroom it is. So chaga, for instance, chaga is incredible for the gut, skin, for cancer, but it has to grow on a birch tree to have a compound that does all of those amazing things. And chaga is one of those mushrooms, fungi that interact and actually binds to the receptors of the endocannabinoid system, one of them. So it is very important where they're grown. So every mushroom is different. Some it's dead, decaying matter. Some it's a certain tree. Some it's a caterpillar or an insect like cordyceps. But they do not eat people or take over people's brains like the TV show. But they do it with insects and bugs. So it absolutely is important. And that's what I always ask people. If you're interested in taking a fungi supplement, which one do you want to take? The one that's growing out in nature in the woods and the conditions that it's supposed to be growing in, or one that's in a dank basement on a bunch of glyphosate oats? Growing in the bag.
And so, since mushrooms are not regulated, I'm assuming there's just no requirement to disclose if they were grown on a grain or rice substrate. You literally have to go out and ask the manufacturer.
You don't. This is a great question. The best way to find out whether you have a, it's called mycelated grain or mycelium. Mycelium is basically like the root structure of the mushroom. And there may be there is incredible medicinal properties in the mycelium. The problem is the mycelium, you can't separate it from whatever it's taking over. So Now there are people growing it in water or liquid form so that they don't have to try to separate it from something. So in the future, we will see mycelium medicine, but right now nobody's doing it or offering it. So right now, what you want to do is look for just fruiting body extracts. So a lot of times you'll look at the back and it'll say, list the ingredients, and on there you'll see mycelated grain, mycelium, anything like that. That means it's grown on a oat grain substrate and not where it's supposed to be. What you want is a dual or triple extraction of the fruiting body, which is what we all know of the mushroom, the flower of the mushroom. That's where all those medicinal properties live, and they have to be extracted correctly, just like cannabis. So certain turkey tail, I think chaga, reishi, they have to go through a hot water extraction like twice and an alcohol extraction for you to get some of those compounds. It has a very tough outer layer called the chitin, which protects it. So you really have to break it down to get to those properties. But if you don't, you won't get them. You won't get that medicine. You'll eat it and it'll go right out of you. So you have to be able to break it down and extract it. We create something called spagyric tinctures. So we're considered triple extracted. So we're very special in the pet industry. There is no other product like ours. We also involve other adaptogens because we have the research that already shows us that when you put multiple mushrooms and herbs together that are adaptogens, they become much more synergistic and powerful. So we really formulated something that you're not going to be able to find anywhere else for our pets. They're the best.
Yeah. Well, anything you make, I believe it.
Thank you. Same. I feel that way about anything you make.
Thank you. So I want to talk about functional foods here in a second, but when I posted this, somebody messaged in that we were going live. When I posted that it was going to be about plant medicine, it dawned on me from this person's message that a lot of people think they don't need to feed mushrooms, CBD or hemp extract unless their dog is already facing some sort of ailment, right? They already have cancer or inflammation that they're dealing with. What's your thought on that?
Drives me crazy because I see people all the time, and I want them to think of this, both fungi and hemp, as something that helps your body do when it's deficient or when something's a little off. So you're always going to have those days, and your pet's always going to have those days. And this is something that's going to help keep you at homeostasis, help you if you do get sick or injured, that it's going to help your body repair itself. It's going to help the stress level. It's going to help the pain, and it's going to help the body do what it needs to bring itself back to homeostasis. It's also an incredible preventative. If we're talking about hemp, dogs, this is something I learned from Nina. If we know 1 and with 5 large breed dogs is going to get osteosarcoma, that doesn't count all the other cancers that they're also going to get. But osteosarcoma, when we went through this with Nina, I asked my board of advisors, who are mostly integrative and holistic veterinarians of over 30 years, I said, shouldn't we be giving them something to help them keep that away, be more proactive, like give them a full spectrum hemp extract after a year of life? And they said, do it at 8 weeks. So wow. Absolutely. You're constantly, what people need to realize about cancer is that it starts with one bad cell or some bad cells who find other bad cells. They get together, they create a tumor. And if the environment's right, meaning we're not feeding them the right thing and we're feeding the cancer instead and the immune system, and we're not detoxifying, they get their friends, they shoot out a blood vessel to our veins, start feeding themselves. If we were taking a full spectrum, or a pet was getting a full spectrum hemp extract and fungi, that's not going to happen. It's going to help prevent that from happening ever. If it does happen, it's going to give you a lot better chance of, you're probably just going to increase everything to help fight it off, and then figure out what in the environment caused it. Do we need to feed differently? Maybe it's the food. us pet parents, I want to call us 3.0 pet parents. Those of us who have to like keep track, or who do keep track of who owns the food brands and the supplement brands. I mean, I know you and I trade information all day long, and I'm like, I didn't know that. Why didn't someone tell me? But these people need to understand things change and get sold, and they change ingredients, and you think you're feeding the best thing, and then all of a sudden you realize that company's been sold and they changed something 3 months ago, and you're like, that, because you're like, why all of a sudden is something off or wrong? And usually that's it. So yes, as a preventative, it's an amazing, both hemp and fungi. Fungi, what I love most about fungi is that it can be used both as a functional food, meaning it's incredible for the gut, and as an incredible functional medicine. So chopping up shiitake, which I know is our favorite, which those of you who don't know, Ruby and I have created a treat together, and we have included shiitake mushrooms. They will be coming out soon, and we will have another live to talk all about those. But feeding our dogs mushrooms, you know, cutting them up, chopping them up, putting some olive oil or avocado oil, popping them in the oven for about 25 minutes just to break down that chitin just a little bit, feeds the gut microbiome for 13 days straight. So literally, if you were to feed mushrooms every 13 days, your gut is going to be very, very happy, meaning you're going to feel good, or your dog's going to feel good. If they do get exposed to anything, they're going to be able to fight it off. So again, that's why I walk around and say cannabis and fungi are going to save the world.
They are, though. They really are. This Christy says, when my 3-year-old Shih Tzu, I started her on CBD as a puppy, and she's now on Myco dog mushroom tinctures, because I wish I had been able to help my last dog with CBD much earlier than her senior years. Sorry, which, I mean, it's true. And it's unfortunate that we have to learn from some of these very difficult experiences, but I give my dog CBD. I give them your heel every single day.
Yeah, because you got a big boy.
I got a big boy, and he's got something going on, like a fatty something right there. And I don't know why I didn't start using it before. I don't have any excuse, because I had you on last year and probably should have started using it then, but I didn't.
It's okay.
You know,
we
but
learn.
here we are. Yeah, and you kind of learn from that. Are there other ailments that you think fungi and cannabis can help prevent besides cancer? Like, what other things have you helped people with that, you know, aren't the big C?
Oh, well, my newest one is CCD, or dementia, in dogs and in cats, because there wasn't anything out there that was natural that anybody was talking about. I didn't know about it. And I was losing dogs. I was putting cancer into remission and then losing them to dementia. And I was like, how do I stop this? What can I do about this? And now we have these incredible fungi, you know, lion's mane and reishi and cordyceps, astragalus root, bacopa monnieri. All these herbs and fungi have already been proven to be incredible for the brain. Neuroprotectant, so is cannabis. Remember, the United States government had a patent for cannabis as an antioxidant and a neuroprotectant. So they've known about this. They still know about it, and it's still being kept from us. But these incredible herbs and fungi protect the brain. They regrow our telomeres. Our telomeres is what they degrade and shrink, and that's what causes us to age. It regrows them. It regenerates neurons. It's, to me, that is incredible that these plants do this. And I can't believe that, you know, we don't know more about it. Every human should be taking these. Every dog should be taking these that are a senior, to help prevent it. And you, not only does it prevent it, but if you have a dog that you know, having the sundowner syndrome, where they're pacing, you know, the room at night, or they have to go get a drink of water, or go out to pee or poo or whatever it is, that's usually an early sign of dementia. And you do not have to go through that. Giving them a full spectrum hemp extract, like a heel at night before bedtime, giving them clarity during the day, the mushroom tincture, those things will make a huge difference. Your dog is going to sleep through the night. You're going to sleep. They're going to sleep. And I don't think people realize in our sleep, when our pets are sleeping, they're detoxifying. If they can't detoxify, that means the toxins stay in their body, which means it feeds the cancer or the parasite or the disease or whatever that is in there. So letting your dog get a really good night's sleep along with you is a really important thing for them.
Yep. Yep. I'm starting to see some questions come in, and I want to open up the floor to everyone that's joining in. Before we get there, you said something that made me think of, what I wanted to say is, yes, well, these are great supplements. It's that famous saying that we hear all the time, you can't out supplement a bad diet. So if you're feeding, let's say something that's full of grains and starches and a very high carb food, you're not going to create the appropriate environment for your dog or your cat to prevent some of these common ailments by just adding in hemp extract or fungi tinctures into their food. It's just not going to work.
And this is what Ruby and I always do. And then the opposite is correct. Those of you that have gotten the feeding down right know exactly that you're supposed to feed that real food, and then give that shitty mushroom or CBD that you bought off of Amazon that doesn't have any CBD in it at all. You don't know what has in it, what it doesn't have in it. Don't mess up that beautiful gut microbiome that you created. Pharmaceutical drugs kill the gut microbiome. So don't mess it up by putting a bad chemical in there or a bad prescription med.
Yep, that's right. You said something earlier that made me wonder, you can chop up shiitake mushrooms and, throw them in the oven for a little bit. Is there a benefit to feeding a whole chopped mushroom versus a tincture versus a powder, a ground mushroom powder? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yep. So the chopped up mushrooms that you're feeding are a functional food that are filled with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. Chaga, for instance, has more antioxidants than anything. Nothing else has more antioxidants than that. So chopping them up and eating them is a functional food. A lot of times the powders can be considered the same thing, meaning you're putting them on the food. And then a tonic, or the liquid like we do, is an extraction out of the fruiting body, and that is considered medicine. So that's considered a functional medicine. So they can be both. When you eat them, you're not getting those compounds that are in the fruiting body because you can't get to them just by heating them up a little bit and eating them. They just go right out of you. But all the vitamins and minerals and antioxidants, all that good stuff are in the mushroom. They really are a complete food source, an incredible food source. This is the other thing that I love about them, is that they're more like humans than they are like plants. Fungi are. The chitin, for instance, is the same outer layer that you find like on a shrimp. So they're more, I just feel like they're another thing that Mother Nature has provided us to take care of us. All the food and medicine we need to keep ourselves healthy is out there in nature. We just have to grow it in an appropriate environment and extract it or feed it, cook it the right way.
Right. Are you a regular cannabis and fungi user?
Hell yeah, every single day. Every day. I take my horse ease for every single day for my rheumatoid arthritis. It's the same as the dog ease. It's just a lot more potent. Remember, dogs, we've already discovered, have more receptors than any other animal. So they are much more sensitive to THC. So I take that during the day. At night, I have a medical marijuana card from the state of Florida. Well, now I'm in Colorado, so I don't even need one of those. So I consume medical marijuana in the evenings. And yes, I take my Clarity every morning. I now miss it when I don't take it. I'm like, oh, why do I feel so, I forgot to take my Clarity this morning. But yeah, it's wonderful. All my products are human grade. I made my own medicine for myself and my dogs, and they love it. Hi, Nicole Ann. I love the picture of you kissing your dog.
She says, I've been told by some CBD companies that it doesn't work without THC. Can you touch on that?
That is very true. Thank you, Nicole, for that incredible statement. Yes, broad spectrum products, just say no to broad spectrum products, just say no to isolate products. CBD can only bind to the receptors if THC is in that product. So you always want a full spectrum hemp extract or product. That way, that little bit of THC will help that CBD bind to the CB2 receptor. CBD also interacts with the endocannabinoid system and does so many other things. But yes, that is a very true statement. You must have that little bit of THC in there. That 0.03 that you find in hemp is enough.
Yeah. And don't forget that you need to be requesting a certificate of analysis from some of these brands, because that will tell you, you just can't take their word for it.
Right.
That will tell you if there's actually THC in it.
Right. And be careful, because people are realizing that the consumer is becoming more educated and savvy, thanks to lives like this. So now they come out with things like full spectrum without THC, which is literally the definition of broad spectrum product. So yeah, the COA will show it to you. And the COA, a certificate of analysis, should be very easy to find. On ours, it's a QR code that takes you right to that batch's certificate of analysis. Sometimes other companies have it on their website, but always make sure you see it, look at it, and it should be real. People are forging them now. They are, altering them, but for the most part, if they've got a COA up there for every batch, it should be a legitimate company.
Good. Okay, can we talk about if a dog is on CBD, goes through chemo, goes into remission, comes off of CBD, comes out of remission, is it true that the CBD will not have an effect on the cancer the second time around?
What? Bronwyn, who told you this, Fargan-Noggle? CBD will not have an effect on the cancer the second time around? Okay, so first of all, I one of the stops I just made is with Dr. PJ Broadfoot, which is one of my favorite veterinarians, and we were talking about remission and how remission just means the cancer is behaving itself. Instead of people thinking remission means it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's never gone. We all have cancer cells in us. So when I first read this, the first thing I want to say is they should have never, if your dog has cancer, absolutely go on a full spectrum hemp extract, and sometimes even maybe medical marijuana to make it even stronger, depending on how aggressive it is. But a full spectrum hemp extract should have never been stopped or never stopped, because it will help that cancer from coming back, because it will. And or if you're going through chemo, we usually get sick from something else because of what a blow chemotherapy is to the immune system and to the gut microbiome. So that is not a true statement. Full spectrum hemp, medical marijuana is always going to help. If it's a full spectrum hemp extract and a full extract of cannabis.
So you want to continue giving that throughout their treatment?
Yep. And first of all, any senior citizen, any dog that's been sick with cancer, I would give those a full spectrum hemp extract for the rest of their life. I would never stop giving it to them, or mushrooms, to prevent that cancer from ever coming back again.
Yep.
Is that Hernando?
Yes.
Hernando just walked into my RV, so that's a little weird. You have to come say hi then.
Is this live?
Yes, you're live.
Yes, it is. You're always crashing my party.
You're
Hi.
so welcome. Hello, everyone. Mushrooms and cannabis.
I'm like, why are my dogs going crazy? Because Tio's here. Sorry.
How do CBD and mushrooms interact with each other?
They're awesome. They're both adaptogens, so they become very synergistic and help each other become more powerful. There's a whole group of plants and fungi now called cannamometics, which are plants and fungi that share some of the same compounds as cannabis, and so when you put them together, they just become more synergistic.
Awesome. I have a cat
Kay.
that is, oh, it's Kay. I didn't even look at the name. I have a cat that is off food and not doing well. We've been trying to give her your CBD products, but it's so stressful. Any tips? I know nothing about cats. I hate when the team asks me about cats because I'm like, I don't know.
Well, they're felines. They're a lot different. I'm just kidding. So yes, cats are more difficult, but the good thing about cats is their paw pads are super absorbent. So rubbing it in their paw pads is a way for them to get the medicine. Rubbing it onto their body, letting them lick it off is another way. But it will stimulate the appetite. And if they're not feeling good, it will help them feel better too, and hopefully get them to eat.
That's not something you can do with dogs, is it?
Dogs, not the paws. Dog's ear, you can put it in. I had a dog that was a 16-year-old Chihuahua that was having grand mal seizures. She would not let me get in her mouth. I would wait for her to go to sleep and slip it in and give her the dropper. So if that's what you got to do it. It's so funny. I was driving and Mazda was flipping out for whatever reason, and she's in her crate in the back of the car, and I literally squirted through the little things, and she was like, oh, and I was like, all right, good, got it in.
Well, speaking of administering CBD, is it on the gums, under the tongue? Can you explain how much it would dilute if added over food? Ooh, great question.
Nicole, you are very good at questions. On the gums for your pets or in the mouth, but if you can actually lift up the lip and squirt it on the gums, then do that. That's always the best way. It's also great for their health of their gums and teeth. And if you've got like a dog with some nasty teeth because they're super old, it's great for that. Also great for pain, antibacterial, antifungal, all the good stuff. For humans, we would put it under our tongue and hold it for about 30 seconds before we swallowed it. Our products are emulsified very small so that the moment that they hit our gums and mouth, they go into our bloodstream. When you put it onto the food, you're wasting about 50 to 90% of the medicine, depending on how it was made. Wow. So you're going to get some of it. It's not a complete waste, but if you're trying to stop seizures, you got cancer, or you're dealing with a geriatric dog, you're going to want to be able to put it right on the gums instead of the food.
That was a good question.
And it's been proven that is the best way. I used to think that even up the butt would be like another way, but this is actually the best way.
I mean, if you're having a hard time getting it in your cat's mouth, I would
good luck with the butt. Yeah. I agree. Or maybe if you try it up the butt, the cat will go, okay, I'll take the mouth.
Can CBD go rancid?
Of course. I remember when we first started, like people would show me bottles and it would be white and cloudy. And I'd be like, what the hell happened to it? Well, a lot of people, when they put it in their mouth and when they let go of that dropper, suck up some of the spit or saliva out of the animal's mouth, put it back in the jar, and then contaminate it, and it would go rancid. So yeah, absolutely. But if you keep that dropper clean and keep it out of heat, keep it in a cool place, you're not going to have any issues.
Yep. And the same thing goes for things like fish oil. I'm personally not a huge fan of fish oil. I like to feed the whole fish if you can. But if that doesn't work for you, get those small glass bottles. Yeah.
Fish oil. So fish oil is different because it starts to oxidize the moment it hits oxygen. Fungi and cannabis don't do that. But yes, absolutely do what Ruby said. If you want to do a fish oil, make sure it's pure and real and keep it in a small container, because the moment it hits that air, it starts going bad. CBD literally can sit for 2 years without an issue. It's naturally an antibacterial, antifungal, so it's not going to go bad.
Yeah, I love that. I have on occasion gotten the dropper in my dog's mouth, and got some stuff on it, but you just kind of wipe it off.
Yeah.
All right, I think we have time for one last question. CBD is sold and returned so often around the 4th of July. Can you explain for a pup that's starting CBD when they should start to help specifically with anxiety? We talked about all the things, like all the really, really scary things like cancer, but anxiety is a big one. What do you say?
The only reason that we ever get something returned is because they didn't use enough. We'll like look at the bottle and go, did you use any? People are still scared of this. Makes no sense. They'll give them pills like nobody's business, but they're giving drops of CBD instead of dropper fulls of CBD. So I formulated my products so that one dropper full was what worked on most dogs, like the recommended dose found in research and what works most of the time, but not on all dogs. So if you're doing it for an anxiety, it depends if you're doing it for situational, meaning we're going to go to the groomer, it's 4th of July, we're going to the vet office. And what you're going to do is you're going to want to put a full dropper right on their gums. Our Calm tincture has lavender essential oil in it also, which lavender is one of those canomimetic plants that share some of the same compounds. That's why it's so incredible. And we put it in there. And you want to do like a full dropper on their gums. And then you would wait 20 minutes. And within that 20 minutes, you're going to see, I found their dose. It's perfect. They're calm, no issue. They've passed out and they're sleeping on the floor. We gave them, it's a little too much. They're still anxious. Give them another dropper full. You have to find your dog's dose, but you will find it, and every dog is different. So it has nothing to do with weight. It has to do with the deficiencies of your endocannabinoid system. So my 60-pound Doberman would need a quarter of a dropper to calm down during a thunderstorm, when my 9-pound Schnauzer needed 2 dropperfuls to calm down during a thunderstorm. Nina, you'd give it to her, she'd immediately turn around. She'd come ask for it when a thunderstorm is coming. Take it, go lay down, be calm. Odie, flipping out, 2 dropperfuls, 20 minutes later, finally calming down. He would fight it the whole time too. Like he'd be going, why am I calm? And I'm still hearing the thunder. So every dog is different. And the best part about these plant and fungi medicine is you can't overdose. You cannot cause any harm. You can feed the entire bottle of any of our products to your dog. You're probably going to get super sleepy and sleep really good and maybe have some diarrhea, but no permanent damage at all. And you can't say that about any pharmaceutical drug.
So I can see how it's easier when it comes to anxiety to sort of visually see how much enough is enough. But when it comes to some of the other ones, like your Ease or Heal, that we're using for therapeutic purposes, arthritis, for example, how do we know like that it's working? How soon can we see it working?
You can tell by their behavior. So pain, it's usually they are playing again, or they're jumping up on the couch, or they're going down the stairs. Or if it's like a cancer, they are eating again. They're playing, they want to go outside. So you can totally tell by the way that they're acting. Like Odie, how I knew Odie was in pain is he stopped going up the stairs. He would like go halfway and stop. And then I knew he wasn't in pain anymore because he would haul ass up the stairs again. So yeah, it's just, you will definitely be able to tell. And that's what you're doing, is you're seeing how much your dog needs. And then remember that they may need more as they get older, or they may need more during a sickness or an injury. And then you could, keep giving it to them. But my dogs get it every single day. They're all seniors now, but even if they were younger, they'd be getting it every single day.
Yeah.
Mushrooms can go in the food. So that makes it a little easier. You could put mushroom tincture tonics right on the food.
Well then, so how do you explain CBD dog treats? That's going on food. Are those not diluted?
They are, of course, they're diluted. They're just another way. CBD treats are like an introductory to CBD. For some reason, people are more comfortable in trying a CBD treat. And some people will find relief, and some people will go, I don't think it's enough. I think it's a great start for anybody who wants to start giving it to them so that it's in their system every single day, meaning there's nothing wrong with them and you just want to have it as a supplement. I think it's an amazing way to give it to them. The other thing is that, as you know, there's very few good for you treats in this industry, which is why you exist. But it's amazing when I started to look for, because I don't know anything about manufacturing a treat. I do know what I wanted. I wanted it to be super healthy. I thought about a dog who's having cancer. I remember trying to find treats for Nina and how it had to be a single ingredient. God forbid I got something that some formulation someone made, and I'd be like, why did they put that in there? We don't need that in there. Why is that in there? So thank you for doing what you do. But that's why it's on there. Like, sick dogs, old dogs, they love treats. They deserve treats. And I wanted to create treats that they could have as many as they wanted, and it would be good for them, not cause any harm.
So leading up to the Feed Real Summit, what are you going to be talking about? Can you give us a sneak peek?
Yes, I'm going to go a lot more in depth about everything I just talked about, but how, what the research shows us, how these adaptogens, which are, cannabis and herbs and fungi, how they interact with the 12 pathways of cancer, how they interact with the 5 pathways of pain, share some incredible success stories, show you the research that's out there, show you how they work on cancer, how they kill it, how literally cannabis, fungi, diet, and adaptogens literally can kill, get rid of cancer and keep it away if you continue them. So that's what I'm going to share. It's there's so much incredible information out there, and it does not get shared with us. I tell people all the time when I travel and I'm in a hotel room and I turn the TV on, I can't believe what gets played on the television and how I hear a news report about a new drug, targeted cancer drug that is great for this cancer. And then that's the news report. And then the commercial is a pharmaceutical drug, and then a human pharmaceutical drug. And I'm just standing there screaming, going, we already have a cure. We already have a beautiful plant natural medicine that does this. But nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about how daily people are healing themselves, much less healing their dogs. Bronwyn from Dolce's Legacy does it on a daily basis. This is what she does and what she specializes in. So you can't tell us different. We know better. We've done it a ton of times now. So that's what I'm going to share.
Oh, I'm so excited. And you have a lot of fans here. They
good.
Love your product, loving Ease Tincture. I've seen swelling come down after an allergic reaction within 20 minutes.
Awesome.
Asking if you sell in retail stores. You do, right?
What? Yes.
Yep.
We do. If you don't see them at your retail store, let us know. We're kind of picky. We try to hand pick who we have, but if you've got a good store, let us know. We'd be happy to reach out to them.
Yep.
Hi, Martina. Thank you. That's so nice of you.
Well,
Nicole, you need to be on every live with your questions.
She's so good.
I know.
Well, for those of you that haven't got your ticket yet for the Feed Real Summit, make sure you jump on that. You will be able to meet Angela in flesh, in person. She is awesome and very approachable. And I knew the moment that I met her that I was immediately in love.
Same.
Yeah. And it's only been a year. Do you know that was AHVMA? I just got, actually, I'm going to send you the photo. Like, it popped up in my Google memories. I think it was today last year, I want to say.
Wow.
I know.
So much later. Well, good. I'll see you at that. I'll see you at HVMA again too, right?
Yeah, you sure will.
I'm coming to San Diego. You're not going to be able to get rid of me.
No, I cannot wait. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a good rest of your afternoon, and we will see you soon.
Thank you, everyone.